All right, everybody, I'm Logan Allec, I'm a CPA, and this is my stimulus update for Wednesday, July 22nd. Now, there were some hopeful words spoken yesterday regarding the stimulus check, particularly by the number 2 Republican in the Senate, John Thune. I told you what McConnell said about stimulus checks on the Senate floor yesterday. John Thune also had some encouraging things to say about stimulus checks yesterday. I will tell you what he said later in this video, but first I want to talk about the bad news, about the negotiations, okay? So for the past few days, we've been talking about not so much the rift between Republicans and Democrats regarding the next stimulus relief bill, because, hey, that's a given, right? We know that's there. The focus, what we've been talking about right now, is the rift between congressional Republicans and the White House with respect to the next stimulus relief bill, particularly over the president's desire to include a payroll tax cut in the bill. I talked about this a few days ago, and it looks like the issue still isn't resolved. Yesterday, congressional Republicans, Senate Republicans, met with the White House negotiation team, the White House stimulus negotiation team over lunch. The White House team, of course, consisting of Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin and the President's Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows. According to Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, Mnuchin and Meadows didn't have a lot to say, but nevertheless, Senator Hawley said that, and I quote, "There's a robust difference of opinion," presumably speaking of a difference of opinion between the White House and Senate Republicans. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky stormed out of the room ahead of schedule, angrily told reporters that he's disgusted that his Republican compatriots are considering yet another $1 trillion bill. He called their behavior insane and an abomination. Those are his words. Senator Roy Blunt of Missouri said that the lunch was messy, his word, and that about 15 different members wanted to make a point, and they made them. So it sounds like the lunch yesterday, which the purpose of which was to find an agreement between the White House and Republican senators in terms of the next stimulus bill. It sounds like it didn't go so well. And Republican senators weren't the only ones that Mnuchin and Meadows spoke with yesterday. They also had a meeting with House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, as you know, both Democrats. Schumer said, "We're glad they came to see us. We're glad they outlined some very broad concepts, but they're not close to getting ready to negotiate." Pelosi was a bit more terse. She said, "I think their delay is their disarray." Now, despite all this, despite not even having the support of his same party Senate and not being ready to negotiate according to the congressional Democrats, Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin still said yesterday, "We want to get something done before the unemployment insurance expires." Folks, the way this is going, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And frankly, I'm shocked that we're coming down to the last bit of July here, and everybody's known that the extra $600 a week unemployment stops at the end of July. Everybody's known that the House has a scheduled recess beginning August 1st. Everybody's known that the Senate has a scheduled recess beginning August 8th. And yet here we are on July 22nd with Republicans having had ample time the last 2 months to at least see eye to eye amongst themselves on things. I know they were saying they had to wait and see, but where was the planning here, folks? Why couldn't they have spent the past couple months saying, okay, let's map out a few scenarios. One scenario is if things are going really well after we've had a chance to look at the data, the wait and see. Scenario 2 is things are kind of so-so, what we would have expected. And scenario 3 is, wow, things are just going great. Right? And if it's scenario 1, well, then we're going to pull all the stops, right? We're going to do payroll tax cut, unemployment, and stimulus. Okay, if it's scenario 2, we're going to do a little bit of unemployment, stimulus checks. But if it's scenario 3, yeah, we're not going to do payroll tax. Like, they could have talked about this beforehand, right? Like contingency plans based on the data that they were waiting for. Why are they still hashing out these details and not making much progress among themselves? Because it sounds like the lunch yesterday was a disaster, right? During what is probably the biggest crisis the country has faced since World War II. Oh, and by the way, we had over 1,000 deaths yesterday in the country due to COVID-19 in over a month. The stalling just makes no sense to me, frankly, and apart from public health, this next stimulus relief bill should be our government's #1 priority right now. Nevertheless, McConnell did say yesterday that he would be releasing in the bill in the next few days. I hope that's sooner, as in today or tomorrow, rather than Friday. With respect to stimulus checks in particular, though, and here's some of the good news that I was promising you. The #2 Republican in the Senate, John Thune, who we've talked about once or twice here on the channel, said yesterday, if it's a choice between doing checks and a payroll tax cut, I think it's pretty clear the checks actually have a more direct benefit to the economy. But that's not all. Thune also said yesterday, and I quote, if the parameters stayed the same, we could do it really quickly. He's saying that if the parameters for stimulus checks are the exact same as last time, we could send them out fast. And he's the number 2 Republican in the Senate. I have to believe that McConnell is speaking very closely with him regarding the next stimulus bill and stimulus checks in particular. So that $40,000 threshold, or even just some lower threshold than the $75,000 threshold for individuals in the CARES Act, doesn't seem like that's set in stone. Otherwise, Senator Thune wouldn't say the thing he said yesterday, right? And of course, we know that Democrats probably wouldn't want to lower the income threshold in the next round of stimulus anyway. That would be another battle to fight by Republicans who are on a time crunch. All right, everybody, that is my stimulus check update for today. To sum it up, good news is that at least the number 2 Senate Republican is open to simply issuing another round of checks identical to the CARES Act checks, okay? I know that would still leave some folks behind, like adult dependents and others, but hey, that's better than constricting, making smaller the population eligible for stimulus checks in round 2, okay? Bad news, of course, is that no one seems to be able to agree on anything right now, not even the Republican White House and the Republican Senate. Not even to talk about the future battle that will take place between the Republican bill and the congressional Democrats. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, folks, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.